Howdy, Jacob here. Today we're looking at the Hershey company. I think you know what they do, but just like, what is it, Pepsi, they own a lot more than you may think if you don't know much about the business. So they don't just own those basic Hershey's chocolate bars, they own plenty of chewing gum, snacks, Jolly Ranchers, Heath Bar, Kit Kats. They own quite a bit of things. Founded in 1894, it's been around for maybe a minute or two. Revenue probably not going to be very substantial. Uh, Pretty big growth though. The last 3 years has been very interesting. I just don't see them growing much more than inflation, uh, based on they probably just have money for acquisitions and whatnot. But it looks like if they do have a way to reinvest, they do get a massive return on that investment. I presume that they've been buying back shares for quite a bit though, so that could inflate that ROIC number. Um, yeah, not a whole lot of reinvestment. It looks like capital, well, I can't even say that. Capital expenditures have over doubled. So they have been reinvesting there, making acquisitions along the way, buying back shares, paying a dividend. It looks like their largest form of use of cash is paying out a dividend, and then second acquisition, and then um, after that, buying back shares. So you want the company to be buying back shares that are absolutely cheap, but it's not terrible to get a fantastic business and just dollar cost average, because then if the business is internally grown 15%, then even if you dollar cost average, you're really going to get that 15% return essentially. So yeah, I mean, I think we're ready to make some assumptions here. I'm not going to be projecting a whole lot of growth here. I'd say that 4% is probably as high as I'm willing to go, since I'd assume inflation is going to be about 2 to 3%, and then maybe a percent or so from acquisitions. And then on the PE side, again, just not a lot of growth, but again, I'd say that there is a moat. It is Hershey Company. They own so many forms of snacks. I don't think people are going to be stop eating snacks. They're very consistent, as you can see from these margins up above. People love consistency. So the more I talk, I might just bump it up to a 17. Again, this is the art of investing. There's no science to the PE. This is just your perspective of balancing out the growth at the end of 7 years with their moat and all of those fun things. So they've been very consistent with these share repurchases. I'll be consistent as well. And then as for margin, their average, let's do about 16, 17. And then on the dividend side, they've been growing it pretty substantially, and the payout is 900 million in aggregate. Their payout is probably 60% for a company this large. I don't see a concern with that. Maybe I'll do 3%, a little bit lower in the revenue growth, just so they can have more money to do buy back shares, and then that are hopefully cheap, and then reinvest back in themselves if it makes sense. So right now, great company, one that I absolutely want to own. I think Hershey has a very solid moat, but to me, just not quite at that price point. Since again, it can be the best company in the world, but at a terrible price doesn't make sense to me. So hopefully you enjoyed the video and have a great rest of your day. Thank you.